Welcome to Wellness Through Physical Therapy. I'm Paula Degnan. With me is Ting O. Ting, so much excitement. What is EMG? Is that what it is?
Yes, so we've brought some diagnostic testing to physical therapy.
Wow.
And EMGs, electromyographs, and nerve conduction studies. And also we're doing ultrasound imaging. So ultrasound imaging, basically, you have kids, right, Paula?
Yes, I do.
So ultrasound imaging, when you're pregnant, they have a look at the babies.
Exactly, yeah.
So we use the same technology these days, but instead of looking for babies, we look at your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, to see what they look like, and it obviously helps us figure out if there's problems with them.
Oh, man. And now, do people have to go and get that done and then, but you're the one that's doing it.
We're doing it here. So yeah, we brought these technologies to physical therapy in Hazleton, so very excited.
I can imagine being very excited. Now, don't go away. You're not going to want to miss anything about this because I've got a ton of questions for Ting, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For 4 generations, All-American Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram has been treating their customers like family. Stop in to get the lowest financing options and best service around. Whether you're in need of a Ram pickup or have an active family lifestyle or simply want to show off your fun, adventurous side, All-American Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram of Tamaqua has a wide variety of inventory to choose from. Stop in for Ram Power Days. Make the beer stop your stop for the best selection of beer in the area. Over 450 types of beer, a huge variety of styles to please everyone's tastes. Over 150 microbrews, including hard-to-find beers. Over 100 German and Belgian beers and frozen daiquiris to go. Do you like trying new beers? Make your own 6-pack at the beer stop with a large assortment of single bottles. The beer stop is open until midnight every day, all year long. Make the beer stop your stop. 16 North Broad Street in West Hazleton. Have your event with Whitetail, graduation, birthday, bachelor, reunion parties? They have the most tranquil backyard experience with beautiful mountains in the background. If your company or business wants a different alternative to a golf outing, they have outings that can accommodate you. You can have the entire facility to yourself. They will work with you to set up your day of events. Sporting clay competitions, trap and wobble trap games, skeet. After a day of shooting, you'll return to a meal designed for you. Call Mike at 570-535-6123 for available group options.
A sense of self-worth, of purpose after war. It can be found by having the courage to learn new things and experience new adventures. We develop confidence through accomplishment. If you're a combat veteran struggling with the scars of war, consider getting into the outdoors. The outdoors has really helped me cope, and it just might help you too. Get out of the house, experience life and the healing power of nature.
Watch Staff Sergeant Olson heal the wounds of war through outdoor activities. Watch Warrior Summit Outdoors.
Welcome back to Wellness Through Physical Therapy. And Ting, there's just so many questions about this. First, what made you decide that this was something you wanted your patients to know about?
Well, the deciding factor for me was there's a prospective study coming out. I think it's going to be coming out in November, which was done by these gentlemen in New York. And the basic premise of the study is that they took physical therapy patients, existing patients, and took them through some diagnostic testing like EMG, nerve conduction studies, and ultrasound imaging. And they found, we think we're good at understanding what's wrong with people, but after they went through and did this diagnostic testing, they found that 62% of the time, the plan of care that they had set for their patients actually changed. So we think we're really good at assessing people, but this kind of tells us we could be better. And so after I heard that, I'm like, wow, I'm not as good as I thought I was. I got to do this. So yeah, I went to learn how to do ultrasounds and EMGs, and obviously brought it to the Hazleton area.
Now, when we're talking about all this, again, would it be certain people, or how? This is so cutting edge.
Right.
I don't think anybody would be coming in and just saying, well, Ting, I understand you haven't.
Yeah.
How would you even know?
So the two different test different parts of your body. So the problems that we treat mostly are what we call musculoskeletal problems, so muscles, tendons, ligaments, all that type of stuff. So, so common problems like tendonitis, strains, sprains, all those things, and tears even. So with the ultrasound imaging, obviously we can look inside the body like we would see a baby, and we can see if we know what your, for example, rotator cuff supraspinatus is supposed to look like. But when we do an ultrasound image of that, it doesn't look that way. We can actually identify if there's a tear in the tendon. We can identify if there's like tendinopathies. And obviously, the more accurate we can get with our assessments, the better we can target some areas.
Well, let me stop you there, because I would think that when you have people coming to physical therapy, they've already seen a doctor and they've had an x-ray.
Right.
So,
An x-ray will show you your bones, and they won't show you too much else aside from your bones. So some people will have gone and had an MRI as well.
right.
But MRIs are good and all as well, but you know, the ultrasound imaging is live. Like when I'm doing it, I'm right there with you doing the ultrasound imaging. So if I see something, I can follow up on that. Versus in an MRI, it's what we call, I don't know exactly what they call it, but it's kind of like a static test.
Right, right.
You just do the MRI in segments, and if you want to research more in one area, you really can't. So with the ultrasound imaging, we kind of like do it on the spot. I can poke on areas that you saw. If I find something wrong, you know, I'll poke on it and say if that's your pain. So it's something that will give us more information. And like I say, we think that we're really good in the medical community. I'm talking physical therapists, of doing certain tests and assessing you and figuring out, yes, Paula, it's your shoulder rotator cuff tear or a rotator cuff tendonitis. But obviously after this study came out, we're not as good as we could be. And so this is a way for us to determine, these are guys remembering that, that were referred to physical therapists from physicians as well.
Right.
So obviously there was something there between the medical communication that wasn't quite as accurate as it could have been.
And does that require then the doctor writing you a prescription to have this done, or how does all that work?
The two different tests are different. So with the ultrasound imaging in the state of Pennsylvania, we can do this as part of our treatment process, evaluation process. So as part of our assessment process, we can do this, and we're allowed to see people for 30 days without a physician's referral. And so someone comes in and we do our assessment. We can do the ultrasound without necessarily having a physician's prescription. But, you know, if you have a good relationship with your physician, it's never a bad idea. For the EMG and nerve conduction studies, they're more of an assessment of the nervous system of your body to see how your nerves are functioning. So if you have things like carpal tunnel, tarsal tunnel, if you have neck pains that is causing problems down your arm like radiculopathy, I don't know if people know that term, the EMG nerve conduction studies are more to assess those types of problems. It can help us identify like nerve problems. For that test, we do need a physician's referral for, but as part of our assessment, we would get a better idea of what was indicated, and obviously we would talk to the physician at that point to see if they felt it was indicated as well.
So they both go together, and
They both, yeah.
so the ultrasound is first.
It depends. It depends on the actual problem. So for example, today I just did an ultrasound EMG combination. Person came in with what we thought was radiculopathy, neck causing problems in the arm.
And is that you mean as far as
Pains, numbness,
pain?
tingling.
Yeah, okay.
So as part of my EMG that I did a nerve conduction study, I found out that the person actually may not necessarily have had that pain coming from the neck. He had carpal tunnel syndrome and possibly some other problems with the nerves, but it didn't explain the pains he was getting up here.
Oh.
So once I did the EMG, I went and pulled out my ultrasound machine, had a look at the shoulder, and found that he potentially has a torn rotator cuff. So,
That he wouldn't have even known about.
No, so from a medical perspective, your thought process is the neck pain is causing that pain coming down this way.
Right.
But this person potentially had two problems that kind of mimicked a neck problem. So in terms of the ultrasound and the EMG, we don't always do them. We do them when indicated.
And I know we've talked many times in the past how a lot of times people will think that something is coming from somewhere, especially when you're talking about walking and knee pain and things. So it would work in those instances.
Definitely, yes. So for another example, we've been doing this for a little bit now, so we've come across like real life examples. We've had patients with back pains that have been getting pain in the butt cheek and the hip, which is very common.
Isn't that sciatica?
Sciatica.
Right.
What we thought was sciatica, but we treated their back, and their back, got better, but the hip pain was still there. So what we did was, again, pulled out the ultrasound, had a look at the hip, found some tendinopathies, or found some, couple of people we actually found tears in their muscles. And this way, obviously, when we started treating that, instead of focusing on the back, it points us in the direction of where treatment would be most beneficial, especially in cases where it's kind of complicated, you're not really sure, or you've been treated for a while, but you're not getting 100% better.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
And we can like target an area and try and figure out exactly where the problem's coming from versus being good guesses.
Wow. There's just so much that goes into all this, and we're going to talk some more about that and how everything is really interconnected. And again, wow, Ting, you got me on this one. I thought walking on the things with the balance was...
That's pretty cool, too.
But that is pretty cool. So don't go away. We'll have more with Ting O coming back when we're going to talk more about ultrasound and nerves and all these things. Wellness through physical therapy will return.
Life is full of partners. Your health deserves a partner too.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Ricardo. I'm running for president of Tacoland. This guy right here is fake. I know what it takes to make a real taco with a real corn tortilla with the cilantro, onions, and salsa. That's right. If you vote for me, I promise you, I will teach you how to make a real taco. That's right. Tune into WYLN Channel 35, Cooking with Jay Zapata. That's right. Tune in, vote for me, and guess what? You're gonna have the best tacos ever.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars with laser illumination technology for just $39.99. You'll also get a protective carrying case, yours free. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight, just pay separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-401-7146. That's 1-800-401-7146. Or visit buynighthero.com. That's buynighthero.com. Order now.
John's Family Restaurant in the Churchill Mall. Enjoy a full menu with all homemade food. From breakfast, soups, sandwiches, entrees, and desserts. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner specials. The food is great, the price is right. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Barber Ford has the largest selection of Ford commercial vehicles in Northeast PA with over 50 Super Duties in stock. Plus, Barber Ford is the only Ford commercial vehicle center in the area, participating with the state's cooperative purchasing program, CoStars. Barber Ford, where the pros go for trucks.
Did you know that WYLN News
Provides news updates every weekday afternoon
at 1, 3, and 5 here on TV and on social media?
Did you know you also can watch WYLN News on the go
by visiting our website or YouTube page?
Now more than ever,
WYLN News
is your local news leader. Welcome back to Wellness Through Physical Therapy. Ting O, you've been telling us about the use of ultrasound now and EMGs. So take us through what would happen if someone came in and let's just go with something like a rotator cuff or something, and maybe the person has been treated for a while and they come in and say, Ting, it's just not getting any better.
Right. So what we would do is, first of all, with an ultrasound image, you have to understand what you're looking at. So what the ultrasound image tells us, it gives us different, if you know what normal is, you can very easily detect something that's not quite normal. And so ultrasound gives us shades of gray and white.
Oh.
And like healthy tendon tissue should be bright white. And it should have like a spaghetti type consistency to it. So if you could imagine like a bunch of spaghetti and you're looking at that, that's what a real healthy tendon should look like, that's bright white. So if we're doing the ultrasound image of someone over the shoulder, of the, let's say the supraspinatus tendon, which is the most common rotator cuff tendon that's injured, if we take an image of that and we know the shape it's supposed to be, we know it's supposed to be bright white, if it's not that way, then obviously it's not as good as it could be, which could mean that it's tendinitis or tendinopathy as we call it these days. Or if we see a big black spot in there, or there's a discontinuity to that those white lines, then we would identify that as being a potential tear. And so what we would do is, there are certain protocols we follow in ultrasound imaging. We follow the national standards with ultrasound imaging, and there are certain protocols that we would follow for each part of the body. So for the shoulder, we would assess we can assess your rotator cuff muscles. We can assess your AC joint. We can have a quick look at your labrum. I'm not sure if people know what all this is.
Well, it's somewhere up in here, yeah.
So basically, the test takes about 20 minutes.
Oh.
And at that stage, depending on what we find, we may decide to have a look at the other side because we want to obviously know what's normal.
Right.
So at that stage, it gives us a dynamic understanding of what's going on in the shoulder, and we can identify whether things are torn, whether things are normal, whether things are having trouble, such as with tendinitis. And so we can do that like all through the body, through the elbow, the hand and wrist, knees, hips, ankles, and all that type of stuff. So ultrasound is a great way to assess your musculoskeletal system, especially the tendons, muscles, and all that stuff.
Why didn't someone think about this before?
Well, surprisingly, physical therapists has been doing this for a long time. Just that it's not very common for people to do, but and plus the technology has been very expensive.
Oh, I bet.
They're still very expensive, but they've dropped in price, and it is a very grueling education process. So the process is quite complicated. So it's something that isn't educated in school. So it's something that people have to take externally to their schooling to be able to learn how to do all this stuff.
All right, so now we have the ultrasound part of it. What's the other part? And
the EMG? Yeah.
The EMG.
So the EMG, there's two components to it. EMGs have been given a not so good name for the people that have heard about EMGs out there. The EMG assesses the nervous system of the body. So the nervous system basically conducts electricity.
Right.
And if you think about electricity and electrical wire, there's two components of the wire. There is the wire itself, and there's the plastic coating around it. So our nerves are exactly the same way. There's a nerve, and there's a protective layer around it called the myelin. So the two components of the EMG, the one, first of all, is what we call nerve conduction studies. What that does is we set up electrodes in the body from point A to point B on a nerve. And what we'll do is we'll provide a stimulus to point A, and then we'll actually assess how quickly that impulse gets to point B.
How do you do that? With a string?
No. We pass an electrical impulse through it.
Oh.
And we can detect through the machine how quickly the impulse gets there, and we can detect how much of the impulse gets there. So it tells us the integrity of the nerve. So that can tell us if something's being slowed down along the way. We can tell something's being pinched. If we can, it also tells us if like only a little of the impulse is getting along the way. That tells us possibly there might be some nerve damage along the way.
Is there a normal for that?
There is absolute normals that have been established over years.
So if you looked at someone and said it's not, how do you measure
Let's
that?
say it's supposed to take like 100 seconds to get from here to here, normally, and then we assess you, and it takes 60 seconds. Obviously, that's good. But if it takes 150 seconds, that means it's a little slow. That's problematic.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, you'll feel it. It's like a stimulus. It's like a vibration type thing.
But it's not a...
It's not, it's not going to be the most comfortable sensation in the world because you are talking about electrical stimulation, but it's something that is in most cases quite tolerable.
Mm-hmm. And again, if you're in pain, and if this is going to help you, the pain is probably still more disconcerting than this would be. So what do you do then?
Okay, so the second part of the EMG is we use little pins, little needle pins, and what we do is we have a look inside your muscles. So each muscle has a nerve connection to it, and we can tell whether that nerve connection to that muscle is intact or if it's compromised. So what it tells us is, one, if that muscle is what we call denervated. Two, we can tell how acute it is, if it's something that's happened within the last 4 weeks or if it's something that's been there for years.
Oh.
And three, we can tell whether, so the things we kind of get from an EMG is one, how severe it is. Two, what we call the chronicity, if it's something that happened recently or something that's been there for forever. Three, we can tell if it's what the prognosis is, whether it's something that's potentially able to heal up relatively quickly, or if it's something that's going to take 6 months. And with the needle EMG itself, what we look at is we can tell if there's been potential healing going on from the injury, if there is an injury. And two, we can identify exactly where the problem is coming from. Let's say if it's coming from your neck. From a physical therapy standpoint, it's very important to know what level the problem is at in your neck. I don't know if you know the C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. So there's a big difference between if a problem is at C5 or if the problem is at C7.
Right.
Because obviously if the problem is at C7 and you're treating C5, you're not going to get the maximal benefit.
Talk about
so,
pinpoint.
Yeah, so it can help us really pinpoint, and it can tell us if it's like the problem is like here or here or here. So it allows us to kind of identify exactly, in most cases, where the problem is coming from.
And you can do this on your lower extremities as well?
Yes, pretty much every nerve in the body you can basically assess. Well, I won't say every nerve.
How
most
long
nerves
did
in
this
the body.
training take you?
It is a process that's going to take, I haven't got my master's degree in it yet, but it's going to take, most people it takes 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so the ultrasound training is a little easier, but the EMG training takes between 2 to 3 years to complete.
That's amazing. And you're the guy that has it. I'm just totally blown away by all this.
Well, it's it's something that, like I say, it's once I realized the statistics and understanding that it's going to just help my treatments and like diagnosing of people and what's wrong with them, just got to do it.
Oh, wow, you certainly got to do it. And we've got to take a quick break, but we're going to be back with more Wellness Through Physical Therapy. Wow.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Venture off the beaten path on WYLN TV 35 and discover the Pennsylvania you never knew existed.
You've seen university advertising. A student like me pitching you the same old ideas. But I'm not gonna do that.
Instead, I'm gonna tell you what you can do with a Penn State degree. You can help anyone. Go anywhere. Create! And with 20 campuses to choose from, you'll always feel at home.
Look, Penn State is amazing, but your best years are just beginning. Come find out for yourself.
Blue White Tailgate provides the in-depth breakdown and analysis of the Penn State Nittany Lions football team and their upcoming opponents. Jay Paterno takes you inside the film room to analyze the key plays and formations that will decide the outcome on game day. Watch Blue White Tailgate on WYLN TV 35 Friday night at 10:30 p.m. and Saturday morning at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to Wellness Through Physical Therapy. And Ting, you have just I can't even put into words how amazing this whole endeavor is. So it's actually happening now.
Yes, yeah, we've been doing this for I guess about 3 or 4 months now. It was I think it was May. Was it May, March, somewhere around there?
One of those in months.
So it's been a little bit of time, yeah.
Wow, and what has the response been?
Pretty good. We've done quite a few tests at this stage, and most people appreciate the fact that we can identify their problems more, especially people that have had issues that haven't gotten 100% better. We can get in there and really target our therapy. And obviously, people appreciate the fact that we can focus on, like, say, the people that have come in with back troubles, and we found that they had torn tendons in their hip. I mean, obviously, they appreciate the fact that we found that, and obviously treated it. And we have some new technologies here as well that allows us to treat those tendinopathies a lot more effective than we used to, which is like things like the radial shockwave I think we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, people appreciate the fact that we can identify if a tendon is torn, or if something, if things are torn, we have to be a little bit more cautious with. If things are just tendinopathic, we can hit them with the radial shockwave, and it really helps. Just personally with Kathy, my wife, she had plantar fasciitis, and we were able to identify that with the ultrasound imaging and actually tell how thick it was. Was actually at a point where it was thick to the point where some people would have suggested surgery. I talked to a therapist that helped establish a protocol at a podiatrist's office, so they actually suggested that she have surgery. But through knowing what it was, hitting it with the radial shockwave, we were able to shrink that to the point where she has no troubles with it now. So really identifying and focusing on it just allows us to be a little bit more effective. And our patients, I hope, appreciates that.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And this is the man to see, who has the answers to the questions that you might ask. And don't wait. I think now's the best time to get in touch with you, because if you're doing something for something that you shouldn't be doing it for, you're not going to get relief.
Right. Yeah, targeting the right area helps.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Tingo, once again, always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here.
And we certainly hope that we will see you again. Wellness Through Physical Therapy. Wow.